My name is Noah Green. I am the Associate Director of Education and Assessment at the Explorer's Guide to Biology. I remember just from a young kid, and my dad took me out and got one of those little droppers of just like puddle water from outside, and we looked at it underneath the microscope, and there was just so many little microorganisms swimming around in that one little drop of puddle water. And it just like blew my mind. I couldn't imagine that like there was so much life in like a puddle that I'd just always been like stomping around and splashing through my whole life. There's just like this whole hidden world, and not just microbiology, not just outside your body, but there's like systems and cells and everything in every single living organism. Once I kind of grasped that thought, I just like had to know more. I need to understand how all of this works. And so that's how science became sort of a passion of mine. I remember learning about how people were starting to study cognition and, the science of thinking, and how you can connect the physical brain and neurons and things like that to thoughts and actions. It was just so fascinating. I couldn't get it out of my head. It was a whole meta thing of thinking about thinking. I got that in my brain, and it sort of locked me up and never let me go. So one of the most interesting things I learned as a neuroscientist was probably when I started learning about electrophysiology. And so electrophysiology is the study of how neurons create signals that they use to communicate with each other, and they use electricity to do that. And as scientists, we can record those signals. So we can go into a live animal brain and record the live activity of a neuron. I got more involved in doing, at first, single cell recordings. I was trying to bring an electrode down onto a single cell and attach the electrode to that cell and then be able to record the activity of that cell. And so I remember the first time that I was able to do that, it took me like 2 or 3 months to even be able to get a live cell cultured. But I remember the first time I was able to attach my electrode onto a cell and record that cell activity. I got so excited that I jumped up out of my chair, knocked my array off of the cell because I was gonna go show my PI that I had done it. And I was like, oh no, now I have to go do it again. But that was one of my favorite moments of electrophysiology, just because there was so much work that went into this one goal, and you finally get there and you get so excited. It was a lot of fun. Later in my graduate career, I got an opportunity to do a teaching as research fellowship through the Vanderbilt Center for Teaching. And it introduced me to this whole world of the cross between neuroscience and how people learn and cognitive psychology. And that really just grabbed me. I was fascinated by it. And so that eventually led to me starting my own business to do digital education consulting. And I did that for about 5 years, and that led me to a job with the Science Communication Lab, which is where I am now. So one of the things that I love about working at the Explorer's Guide to Biology is that we get to work with so many people who have made these amazing discoveries and talk to them about their science and their discoveries and their journeys, not just the discovery and the science, but how it all happened. And that's a big part of what we're trying to convey to the learners, the people who read our resources, that science is a process and that it's done by people.